Coming up on Hold All Tickets, Adam nailed his best bet last week and has well and truly got ahead of himself because it's paying around $7 or $8 this week.
I'm still backing it as my best bet.
Don't mind that each way odds. And the Guru, he's also got ahead of himself. He's got 2 best values this week.
Yeah, it's 2 winners is better than 1, isn't it?
Can't argue with that. Coming up now, Hold All Tickets. Welcome to this week's edition of Hold All Tickets, brought to you by BoomBet. Great fixed odds, more value and more boom moments. Sign up today and get in on the boom. I'm back in the host chair this week, managed to shake off the plague, which struck me down last week. Lucky to be joined by 2 punters this week, Adam Brett and James Molony. Adam, how are we?
Very good, Lamby. It's good to have you back. Man flu is a tough one to get through, 10 times worse than the normal flu, so it's good to see you back up and about.
Yes, and how are you, Jim?
Doing my best, yeah, recovering, licking my wounds after a tough day on a heavy track at Randwick, but we head to Rosehill for potentially another heavy track, so we'll try and pick up the pieces and go again.
Your 100-to-1 shot didn't disgrace itself last week, though.
No, it's still, I checked my account, it still didn't pay, though. That's the problem. So, anyway.
Very good. We go again. Big show coming up this week. We've got a couple of Group 1s in Brisbane, which we'll have a decent look at. Best bets for Eagle Farm, Rosehill and Caulfield, plus, of course, the Self-Trumpeters of the week and the Yay or Neighs. We'll kick things off with the Self-Trumpeters, but before we do, shout out to Thoroughbred Sales, who are the #1 online horse platform for owners looking to buy a racehorse with over 130 trainers and syndicators to choose from. Horses will also be eligible to run in their new $4 million race series with over 400 races having a bonus. All right, time to have a look at the biggest bugle blowers of the week, punters who gave their own trumpet a good old toot toot. Start with 1 vote for JT at Ted Jam. Not overly well written, this from JT, but it's still a trumpet. He posted, "Gonna be hard to post race," trumpet emoji, but here's a go. Only got 50s Magnus spin, was 80s on the tote. FFS, which stands for something's sake. I don't want to swear on the show. So JT, not happy that he took unders on an $80 winner. My heart bleeds for JT. That's shattering. 1 vote, Shane Anderson at Global Gallop. Bit of a different trumpet, this one. It's more of a horn than a trumpet. He was the voice of racing on RSN many years ago. And Shane posted this on X. "I have a lot to say about Australian racing." Dramatic pause. "Soon." Full stop. So, as I said, more of a horn than a trumpet, just gathering the masses to read his thoughts on Oz racing. But it was a little teaser because he's got everyone's attention, but the thoughts are yet to lob, and that was 3 days ago. So he's really just building.
That's well past suspense stage.
He's building the suspense.
It's gone down.
So 1 vote for Shano there for the horn. 2 votes. Liam McCallion. He's in the office here.
Stats Guy's copped the whack.
Stats Guy, yes. In the office here at News Perform. Co-host of AFL Today, and he actually hosted the World Pool show last week. So a real jack of all trades. This one is from a week or so ago, but I forgot to give him votes, and I can't let this one slide. So it's a bit of a retrospective. He came into the office and was asked how his indoor soccer team went the night before. And Liam responded with, "The team we lost, but I played well." So real team player, our Liam. As long as he played well, it doesn't matter that his team got pumped. So he gets 2 votes for that. 3 votes. Russell Leonard. He's a caller up in Queensland known as the Brolga.
Oh, Brolga.
Sadly, I couldn't track down the audio. I heard it live, so I'm paraphrasing here. But Brolga did some serious name dropping as horses were going into the stalls for race 2 at Mackay on Saturday. He gave a shout out to his mates who were tuning in for the races. Mates that included former Aussie Test cricketers Andy Bickle, Ian Healy, and I reckon there were 1 or 2 others that I couldn't remember. But he's just letting everyone know that he rubbed shoulders with some pretty big dogs when he's not calling the races. So he gets 3 votes.
He holds one of the best Calcuttas at Warrnambool, Brolga, every year.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, absolutely elite stuff. Yeah,
okay.
If you're at Warrnambool next year, go to Brolga's Calcutta.
Very good. Yeah. 3 votes. Speaking of Warrnambool, Rick McIntosh, repeat offender, got some audio to play here.
It was only a kiss out beyond the middle, is still coming on the outside. And it was only a kiss, I told you. When it got to 6, have more. It's coming away from Us Valley.
So Rick obviously tipped Only a Kiss, and it's one paying $6. Didn't he love it? So in the trumpet, he said, I told ya, when it got to 6, have more.
So it drifted or it firmed?
It must have drifted.
Right, okay.
I think, because he said, when it got to 6, have more.
Right, okay, yeah.
Which is easy to say in hindsight. But 3 votes there for Rick. Don't have the leaderboard in front of me, but I feel like he'd be in the top 5 by now, Rick. I'll have a look at that and bring it in next week. That is the Trumpeters for another week, done and dusted. Before we get into this week's tips, we need to hold ourselves accountable, as we always do. We'll start with Adam, because his best bet was very nice indeed. Race 2, number 5, the Inflictor.
It was an easy watch too. Jumped out in front and just kept on going. So very happy with that one.
It says $5.50 on my sheet, but then when I looked at it, it was $3.
Yeah.
Any deductions there, or just the power of the Adam Brett tip?
That's it.
Disciples.
Market mover. So.
You did describe yourself as the market shaper one day on here. Next best was Rise at Dawn, who was scratched.
Has been scratched, but running this weekend, tougher race.
Okay. The value was Roots. You've managed to get that horse retired.
Yeah, rooted.
Yep. Jim, Ramwick, best bet, race 2, number 8, First Mission.
Yeah, it's not as good as I thought. Had every possible. Went forward and we didn't handle the conditions, but no excuses.
Next best was race 10, number 10, She's Unusual.
It was off the map. Huge firm, huge go, and it's still going.
Doesn't pay the bills.
No.
And I Am Adonis was also scratched.
Yeah, scratched, yeah.
Is it?
One to watch. I'd have to have a look. It's not nommed in Sydney, so I'm not sure. Yeah.
My set at Sandown, best bet was in race 1, Saluted. Ran well for second, but not good enough. Beaten by the horse that was absolutely smashed in betting. Next best was race 2, number 6, Harry Got Styles. Missed the kick, but didn't go around a horse, just stuck to the fence and won nicely at around $5. Best value.
Great run, that one.
That was a nice watch. Best value was race 8, number 1, Oscar's Fortune, who led but knocked up a little bit in the straight. It's on the quick backup again, going to 1,600 this week. So doing plenty of racing, Oscar's Fortune. Time to look forward instead of back to get the tips for Saturday. We'll start with the thoughts of our sponsor, BoomBet. Great fixed odds, more value, more boom moments. Sign up today and get in on the boom. Adam, who is the BoomBet horse this week?
The BoomBet guys have sent it through, and the boom odds market is very much focused around Jolly Star. So you can get $5 for Jolly Star with BoomBet this weekend. As we were talking about pre-show, that's pretty decent.
As we'll get to shortly with the tips. I think a couple of us are keen on Jolly Star. We'll start with your Kingsford Smith Cup tip. Who are you liking here in one of the features?
Yeah, so having known what you two are going, I'm going slightly outside of this. I'm going with Benedetta. Look, at the moment, it's saying that Eagle Farm's going to run on a soft 5. I'm not believing that. They're going to get 20 to 40 mils of rain between now and then. So I'm actually going with something that can run in a little bit of a heavier track. So I've gone with Benedetta. I think it's due. It's run a couple of tough races earlier, carrying some big weights, gets the right weight this time. So I think it'll be right there in the end. But as what you guys have tipped, it's hard to go past what you've tipped, but Benedetta's the one I'm going for.
It is tricky though with the forecast. If it's a soft 5, then horses like Jolly Star are probably going to be pretty hard to beat. But if it gets into that bottomless range, it certainly throws things up. James, Jolly Star? Yeah,
I'm with Jolly Star. I think she's the best horse the horse with the most potential upside in the race. It's going to be interesting if it is a heavy track, what Chris does if he runs her or not. She's never run on a heavy track. So do they keep going or not? I'm sure. I think she did enough in a recent barrier trial. She wasn't tested, sort of sat last, and McDonald was on. So he's obviously thinks she's right to go. And I just think she's the best horse in the race at the moment.
I agree. I think she's a little bit up and down, but her A game stands out in this field. I don't actually mind the wide gate. J-Mac has options from out there, and you trust him to pick the right one. He generally does in the Group 1s. Newmarket win was brilliant, and then beaten by Jimmy Star in the All Age, which is pretty good form for this. But it just depends on which Jolly Star turns up, but that's the way I'm going. What about the Queensland Derby, which looks a fair bit more open than the Sprint?
It is definitely open, but I do like Statuario. So I'm backing that one in. Once again, just taking things that have run in the wet before. I think it will get it through the mud if it gets to that point, and should run pretty well.
Jim?
I like Politely Done. I think he's on the up, and I think that he'll relish the trip. I was pretty keen on him last prep in the Derby, the VRC Derby, but wasn't to be. I just think his win last start was his best rating that he's run at Flemington over 2,000 metres in open handicap conditions for the 3-year-olds. I just think that the way he won that race and his turn of foot late and the way he sustained that quick gallop, he ran the quickest last 400 in the race off a fast early speed. He just looks like a stayer on the up. So I think his nice price on Saturday.
I think if it's really wet, then he's got to be a show based on that Flemington run where so many horses didn't handle it.
Yeah, and it was a soft 7. I was there that day, but it was a soft 7. It rained a fair bit before and after.
Worse than that.
Yeah, so I think there was a bit of more surface moisture than it was rated.
Yep. On with Adam. I'm going with Statuario. I thought he was a bit stiff in the SA Derby. Swapped the rides with the winner, and I think you get a different result. It's been a pretty taxing prep though for the 3-year-old, but just looks a very genuine stayer and pretty versatile in terms of his racing pattern. So from barrier 5, I don't think he should be too far from the action. But if it's really wet, I wouldn't talk you out of Politely Done at decent odds last time I looked.
Just a third one in that mix. Have a look at the 16 Feminil. I think in the wet, if it is on a heavy track, that can run pretty well and to come back off a bit of distance too. So that's probably one that is just keeping a bit of an eye on, currently at about 850.
Yep. No, like it. Other bets at Eagle Farm, your best bet?
My best bet, it's certainly got some odds at the moment. It's coming in about $7.50, $8 at the moment, but race 3, number 7, Flying Bandit. I really liked its last couple of runs. The only question here is going to be the barrier coming out of 15. But I do think it's got some class and certainly on the up coming through as well. So with a bit of speed on the soft track and the heavy track, should run over these in the end.
It's a nice price for a best bet. What about your next best?
My next best, I've gone with a Bjorn Baker one here, just having a little bit of a insight into what it's looking at here. Barrier 20 is its biggest challenge, but Raikkonen, out of race 6, number 10, Raikkonen, that's going to be the one that I'm really keeping a close eye on. Once again, $7.50, I think it is at the moment. Possibly gone a little bit longer this morning.
Getting a bit longer than that. It's out to near double figures.
Yeah. So, but I know Bjorn's got some big wraps on this horse as well. So I'm looking to see, I think it's second up now. So I'm looking to see it run pretty well here.
Takes on the pretty promising Angel Capital.
Yeah, I have gone against it, and purely just because of the conditions it's going to run in.
Yep. Controversially now with Chris Waller after going well for Clinton McDonald. What about your best value on the card?
Best value is race 4, number 9, Rising Pacific. And that is just, winning form's good form and has a good history running through the soft and the heavy track and covers this distance pretty well. So it wouldn't surprise me at all to see this one win by probably 2 lengths. Cool. So, big call, but 2-length win on this one. I'm really keen on this one. And whilst it's down as my value bet, I'm backing it pretty hard.
Paying the same as your best bet.
Yeah.
Best value. There we go.
I just think in these conditions, I don't think, and I hate saying this on big days like this, you're not going to get – this card, by the way, is pretty exceptional. And to have as many group races as we do on Saturday up in Queensland – I just don't think you're going to see some of the best horses win if the condition of this track deteriorates. So if it goes from a soft 5 out to a soft 7 into the heavies, then unfortunately, as we said, you might not even see the Jolly Stars run. And I think we're just going to see a couple of outsiders get up.
Oh.
Eagle Farm can be really tricky too when it does rain.
Yeah.
You don't know which lanes are what. I find it hard.
Yeah, and I noted that last time Eagle Farm was running on a real heavy track, the barrier didn't matter because the outside barriers were actually getting up and it seemed to be the best part of the track. So I'm backing that in a little bit as well.
Yep.
But yeah.
Keep an eye on the first couple of races on the day.
As the guru just said, who knows what happens when it becomes a heavy track at Eagle Farm.
Speaking of the guru, we'll move to Rosehill. What sort of conditions are we going to be playing on?
It's rated a heavy 9 at the moment, but there's no further rain forecast. So they'll probably have 20, 50 mils, something like that. I'm treating it like a heavy 9, heavy 8. I mean, if it's a soft 7, then it'd be probably even better. But I found it really difficult. There's 7 benchmark 70 and changes on, plus the listed Lord Mayor's Cup, which is not too bad for the stayers. I went for Warrior for Peace, race 2, number 10 as my best, just because it was a really tough day to find a best bet. I thought his run in the Queensland Guineas 2 starts back was fair. He probably found them too sharp late. He got close up to the rail and just failed to run on over 1,600 metres at Eagle Farm. But his last start win in the Class 1 at over 1,600 metres at Scone was visually really impressive. It was really impressive. It didn't rate extremely high, but that's one of those ones where you sort of need to trust your eye a bit. Settled last off an even early tempo before just absolutely rocketing home loop the field.
Set a fair task.
Yeah, set a massive task. So I'm hoping that my eyes aren't lying to me, and it was as good as it did look. But Braithnock is flying at the moment. He stays aboard with a 2 kilo claim. His last 50 rides has been 49% profit on turnover, and his last 100 rides is 16% profit on turnover. That's huge. He's not going to have a 2 kilo claim for much longer. So he stays on, which I'm really, really happy about.
Yeah, nice. Your next best is a horse that's been running around in my neck of the woods, Victoria. Expecting improvement here.
He's the punter's
freight train.
He's the punter's favourite freight train, isn't he? I'm convinced he's a good horse. He's never run clockwise. Well, he might have. He hasn't done it in a race. He's never seen a soft track, and I'm thinking maybe the camp's thinking, all right, well, he goes better on a soft track or a heavy track. Never seen either of those. His last 2 starts, he's just got too far back or worse than midfield off slow early speeds. And if you watch both of them, he's just had a lap full of horse. He was really was encouraging late over the last 200 metres at Caulfield when clocking the quickest last 200 metre split in the race. Jockey had plenty of horse under him. I'm trusting that Freight Train does have ability and can run clockwise.
Well, at least we're getting a decent price on Saturday,
I think
as opposed to him going around as favourite, which
that's
he seems
right.
to do.
Yeah. So fingers crossed.
2 best values. It's
I thought
unorthodox, but we'll allow it.
We've got 2.
Little running double, race 4 and 5.
They're both,
You have to get both of these.
They're both prices. Can we get them both in a place? If you had to pick one, I'd probably go Cundabug if I'm only allowed one. Race 4, number 9. Terrific win on resumption over 1,400 metres at Kensington last start. Absolutely relished the heavy 8 track. Settled near last off a slow speed before really savaging the line late. And then, I just think, I can't believe he's going around double figure odds. That was a maiden, does go up in grade, but I think Mr. Waller's pretty intelligent and knows where to place them. So I'm going Cundabug. And then if I'm allowed another value bet.
Hang on now. Last time he said, I can't believe it's going around double figure odds. His tip smoked at home. So I think I'm getting on this one.
Oh.
Have something small on it, yeah. Not your last.
Okay.
I thought Codetta did enough in recent barrier trial to suggest that she can run well first up. Sort of responded to minimal riding late. Race 5 at number 4. I didn't think it was the strongest race first up, so she gets the nod from me. At double figure odds, I might add.
2 best values. I don't mind it. Caulfield, my best bet, race 5, number 2. Medea should continue on her winning way here. I'm surprised at the odds she went up. I thought she'd be shorter. Dominant, winning at Sale 2 back, and then flew home to score over 1,400 at Caulfield last start. Third in that race was Aha, who absolutely bolted in last Saturday. So it's hard to knock the form. It's just the wide gate, I think, might be the issue, but definitely got the superior turn of foot in this race. So keen to be with that horse again. Next best, race 8, number 7, Neighs, who goes around in one of the features, the sprint. Very promising sprinter, this mare. She's 3 from 3 when first up. Won her last 2 starts at Caulfield, including a Group 3 win over She's Bulletproof, who then went on to run second to Jimmy Starr in the Group 1 Oakley Plate. So
good form.
It's group form, and she flies fresh, so I think she can make a winning return. And the value, this one, look, it's not great value. I must say, I did the preview before the odds had come out. So forgive me, it's only $7 or $8, the value this week, but
still value
if it wins. 2 from 2 in a soft victory at Pakenham last start. It was only a benchmark 58, which doesn't look great on paper, but sectionals were terrific. Had 62.5 on his back and did it with ease. Had plenty up his sleeve there. So I think he's pretty promising, and this doesn't look a huge leap class-wise. So I think No Fooling can make it 3 from 3 as my value play at around $7 or $8.
Well, let's be really honest. We've got the tough tipping this weekend. He's got a heavy track. I could have a heavy track. You got the good 4 out at Caulfield, so your 3 tips should be the
They'll
good
be on
ones.
morals for sure.
Yeah,
You
it's
just-
Interesting
straight into
theory.
it.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes.
No, I'm just giving us an escape out for next week.
An early out.
Yeah.
Time for the yays or nays for this week. Getting a bit political, which is something we don't usually do, but I think you'll have a view on this, Adam. Prominent ATC members who pushed for the yes vote to sell, Rosehill obviously, should step down. Yay or nay?
I'm a yay on this. I am staggered that people aren't even questioning after they've backed it pretty hard for selling, that you lose. And yes, it was 56-44 in the end, but it's still a loss. I think you just need to lick your wounds and say thanks very much and hand it over to someone that actually is going to carry it on, because you've put your case forward. You wanted to sell it. I don't know how you bounce back from that, and it might just be time for fresh blood to come in.
Yep. Jim, do you have a view on this?
I'd say I'd agree. Yeah, if your incentive is to have sold it and then you're still there, then surely that needs to come into question.
Yeah, I'm also yay. I think they had a vision for the future, which is not going to happen now. So it's hard for them to come back from something there. There's probably going to be a fair bit of resentment and simmering tension. So yeah, it's hard to see how they're all going to come back together and be on the same page. So yays across the board.
I'd argue that it might not just be prominent people within the ATC that might need to question what they're going to do next as well.
Okay.
I think there's a few people sitting on the outside of that were fairly big supporters of the yes vote that might need to have a look at themselves too.
All right, we won't name names.
No names,
We'll just leave it at that. It's curtains for Giga Kick at the elite level if he doesn't finish top 3 in the Kingsford Smith. Yay or nay?
I'm nay. You're running on a potential heavy track. Conditions are not desired. I don't think we can give too much on this one. So this run's a bit of a, if it goes
Mulligan?
well, great. If it doesn't, it's not curtains yet.
Okay. Jim?
No, it's nay. Nays. I mean, he hasn't won in a while. 2023, I think, was his last win. But no, I'm nay. He's won. Well, he's never. He's had 7 Group 1 starts and for 5 placings, 2 wins. I'm nays. He'll be back. He'll be back.
I'm going to buck the trend and say yay. Look, plenty wanted to pot the ride in the Goodwood, but I thought he was ridden like the old Giga Kick there. He was ridden like the best horse in the race. Zara probably thought he's got a couple of lengths on his opposition, which it certainly looked the case on paper, especially with the weight. So maybe his fitness gave out a little bit late there and we'll see a stronger version second up. But I think if he can't get into the money on Saturday, I'm not sure he'll be figuring in the spring, the big Group 1s in the spring. So, yeah, I think he needs to lift on his first up effort. Which
In the past 18 months, some good horses have come up.
Yeah.
And now running sets against some 4 or 5 class horses.
Absolutely. Talk of Antino serving it right up to Via Sistina in the Cox Plate is premature after his Doomben Cup romp. Yay or nay?
I can't sit in the fence. I'll go nay. I think when you look at that run again, Antino was pretty dominant and Via Sistina is great, but it is nice to actually have the talk around 2 quality horses going against each other. So I don't think it's premature, but it is going to have to find another level to get to Via Sistina's class.
Yep. Jim?
Via will give him Winburn, I think. I think they're in a different. I mean, obviously he's run really well this campaign. He's 2 wins. He wasn't great in the all age first up, but it just reminds me of the win in the Turak when he sort of looped the field and just absolutely belted the line. It was really impressive. I'm still in the Via camp. I think Via's got a bit more upside at 2,000 than Antino.
I think I'm romanticising a bit because I just love to see something get up there to give it a bit of a challenge and have 2 great horses.
Yeah. I think it'll depend on where they meet each other in their campaigns as well. If they meet each other, if they do go to the Cox Plate, I can see Via, slowly building towards a 2,000 metre Cox Plate, and Antino might knock her off. But on grand final day, I think Via will be winning.
Yeah.
My immediate reaction was yay, but I think if you look at the trajectory of the 2 horses, Via will be 8. Coming off an autumn where she was excellent, but nowhere near as dominant as she was in the spring. Like she was an absolute beast last spring. Antino will be 7, but he didn't race as a 2-year-old, and he's only just been tried at 2,000 metres. So I think he's still a fair way off her, but the gap is
a good point.
closing.
Narrowing.
Yeah.
So it'll be, I hope they do, start sort of close together in the market heading into the Cox Plate, and we see a belter, but time will tell. Stormboy won't win another race, yay or nay?
Did you just put this in after my Whirlpool preview last week, where I went very solid on Stormboy, pumped it up, tipped it, said it was going to win by 3 lengths.
No, I
said
didn't.
Coming out of Australia, it's going to show its class.
I missed that.
I reckon you've just put this into public.
No, honestly, I did miss that.
I went very hard on Stormboy. I actually thought it was going to go over and impress everyone and show the class of horse. But my God, that was an absolute flop.
It was a stinker.
Yeah, it was an absolute stinker. I can't see it, when we saw it run in Australia for its last 2 runs, it didn't show what we expected either. I got a real concern that the good days are gone, and I can't see it winning another race from here unless there's an absolute miracle turnaround.
Yeah.
Oh, it'll definitely win another race. It'll probably win at Ascot too, I reckon.
Jeez.
So Aidan O'Brien came out. I don't know if you've read this, but he came out after the race, which would be good to know before the race. But he said he had never been galloped or worked, but we had to run him to find out what other work that needed to be done. We haven't really trained him yet, and hopefully what we think will come. So he hasn't done any work at all. He's gotten over there and had a small
It's
gallop.
bizarre to me that it hasn't even galloped.
Yeah, so it's one of those things like we see something and we react a certain way, but geez, it would have been nice to know that pre-race because
Mate, it would have been nice to know that before I just gave mine. Thanks for the heads up.
I only got this information like yesterday. I didn't even know, we hadn't worked because I had something on him too. So, I think that, that between now and Ascot, like I'd say he's going to get a pretty decent amount of work into him.
Obviously, word didn't get out of the camp because he was pretty firm in betting.
Big time.
$2.10 at the end.
And he's going to be worth a fair bit to Coolmore too, winning a Group 1. So the incentives are there. I'd say he'll be winning at Ascot.
I hope that's not an excuse and there is actually some form to be found because that was a stink.
It was horrible,
I'm going to say, he won't win another race. Just mainly, he was bog average, but also the fact his form did massively taper off in Australia. So he might be cooked, but we'll see. I know Brian knows a hell of a lot more than me. That's it from us for the yay or nays. Thank you to our sponsors, Boombet, great fixed odds, more value, more boom moments. Sign up today and get in on the boom. Our friends at AFL today, Liam McCallion, the Self-trumpeter, they're doing a fundraiser for M&D, so check out the link in the description to get around what is a very good cause. If you enjoy listening or watching Hold All Tickets, give us a like and a follow on our various platforms, Punters YouTube, X, Facebook, Instagram. Leave a review, and good luck backing a winner or 3 on Saturday. Imagine what you could be buying instead. For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.